Hi there everybody and welcome to your Bank Holiday Monday Newcastle United news right here on the Toon Review YouTube channel. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we start, as usual, if you would give us the thumbs up for the video, that would be very kind of you so that we can keep up there in the search results and fellow fans like yourselves can hopefully find the channel and subscribe in the future. We are so close to the magical 30,000 subscribers, so with your help, we can get there sooner rather than later. Now, on today's show, Amanda Staveley has spoken out about the Australian trip. Now, we thought this might happen, given the fans' questionable disgruntlement, I guess, at going, why we went, who made the decisions, etc. She addresses all of that, and I think it's brilliant. Also, Chelsea are looking to hijack a Newcastle United transfer. The old guard at Newcastle United, some of them are expected to leave within the next few days at Newcastle United. And Mark Goldbridge made some comments on his That's Football show yesterday regarding Newcastle United. I just want to address some of the things he said. Not bitching or anything, just to put things pretty much in perspective for everybody. But we'll start off with Amanda Staveley. Now, as the owner, she obviously goes through social media. She sees what the fans say about the football club because she's addressed numerous things in the past that have been said. And personally, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that we have an owner who is willing to come out and explain things. You know, we've had literally under the previous owner, nothing like this. No communication, decisions get made and the fans just get forgotten about. That's how it used to be. But it's certainly not the case this time because Amanda has addressed it. I'm going to put the statement up on the screen for you now, but I'll read it out as well. It's very interesting, actually. This is what she had to say on Instagram. She says, I've seen a lot of comments about the NUFC Australia trip, which I'd like to address. Besides being a shareholder, I am first and foremost a fan. As a fan, I understand that this trip was controversial. However, personal opinions aside, revenue-generating trips are crucial to a club's commercial success. The decision to go was taken by management, and ultimately, I have to support their decisions. Nobody wants a fresh team ready for the new season more than me, and we are doing everything we can to support our manager in achieving this. Dad and I had a very productive working trip to Monaco with a potential sponsor, and we are looking ahead to the new season. We are united. Now, I think that's a fantastic statement because there's so many different things within that statement to talk about, isn't there? First of all, it seems like Amanda wasn't really too keen on the Australian trip either because when she says their personal opinions aside, she understands that the revenue has to be generated from somewhere at the football club. And the Australian trip is part of generating revenue. That is fair enough. She didn't really agree with it, but the management above Amanda made that decision and she has to go along with it. Also, a very interesting point about supporting the manager in achieving this to get the players in for next season. Now, this is big for me because obviously we've heard a lot of fans saying they want Eddie Howe out the door, they want this, they want that. By what she's saying there and supporting the manager to achieve this, Eddie Howe is going nowhere this summer. And for me, I'm delighted with that. Because I generally, yes, I've had my complaints about Eddie and he's made mistakes. But that's fine. You learn by mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And Eddie's, you know, he's a human at the end of the day. But he's a very, very good manager. And I don't want to see Eddie Howe sacked without him being able to have a really good crack at this. And last season was not a good crack at it. You know, there was many, many, many different reasons things failed. He made mistakes during the injury crisis. The injury crisis was a massive, massive thing to blame as well. Losing some very key players. Tonali getting suspended. You know, there was so much went on. And I do believe Eddie Howe deserves a fresh crack at this next season. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I genuinely think, and I think many fans think, that Eddie Howe is the man to move forward. And I do. Whether you agree with that or not, that's your opinion. Of course it is. But I genuinely believe that Eddie can take us forward. And knowing that the owners are right behind him there puts my mind at rest to think, yeah, they're working together as a team to make sure this is addressed. Now, I do think they need a director of football in. I think that position needs covered very, very quickly after Dougie Freedman turned us down. Who they are turning to, I don't know. There's rumours that they may promote from within. There's also rumours that they are looking at other people. So we just have to wait and see. Trust in the management to get that one right and bring in the right person to work alongside Eddie Howe. Now, again, she's talking about finances. So we have to understand that trip was, as we suspected, really, it was all based on finance. and bringing money into the football club. And basically, she's just confirmed that. Also, fair enough, they got the Grand Prix in and they had a wonderful weekend, but they've also been working on a potential sponsor, again, to bring in revenue to the football club. And it's all about making that revenue for FFP, PSR circumstances so we can bring in the very best players to Newcastle United. Now, obviously, we're not in Europe. Big blow to many fans who wanted to go into a... But, when the dust has settled on that and you look back and you think, this may not be a bad thing. One game a week again, apart from when we're playing the Cups, obviously. Give the Cups a good crack at it again. Bring some good players in. It could be a very, very good, exciting season for us next year. But obviously they have to get the player recruitment right. They have to let the right players go. We know that the old guard, but there is some other players there who maybe should move on. That have had the time and haven't really done a job in the last couple of years for Newcastle. But we'll see what happens in the summer. But thank you, Amanda. Really, thank you for coming out and explaining that. We kind of knew the reason for the trip to Australia, but isn't it just great that the owners are coming out and communicating with the fans, and letting us know why decisions were taken. And I think that's massive. We're not used to this as Newcastle United fans from what happened in the previous regime, but now, we're getting Amanda coming out and putting statements out regularly to update the fans on why decisions were taken. And that they're fully behind the manager. They're looking to bring sponsors in. I'm absolutely delighted. And let me know in the comments. Are you really happy about what Amanda said there? Does it put your mind at rest about a few things? Or, are you concerned about anything? Let me know. Now, moving on to Chelsea. And it seems like whenever we're interested in a player, there seems to be really two teams that are always involved in our transfer dealings. And that is Chelsea and, of course, Liverpool. However, Chelsea are now interested in hijacking the deal for Tosin. Now, Tosin was apparently all done and dusted. Fabrizio Romano has put tweets out over the weekend saying that these deals for Lloyd Kelly and Tosin are very, very close to being tied up, and an announcement is imminent or coming on June the 1st. Or July the 1st, whenever the window opens. However, it is expected now that Chelsea may talk to the player before he makes his final decision. Of course, Manchester United are in the mix as well. I don't think anybody truly knows what's going on in Tosin's head as a player or what's been said behind the scenes. Only him and his representatives will know the destination where he'll go next season. Now, apparently, Newcastle United are still massive favourites to sign him. But there is other clubs involved, and Chelsea come in, he may well decide to stay in London, of course, because Chelsea, right next door to Fulham, of course, aren't they? So, that may be a good move for him if he looks at it that way. But for footballing reasons, hopefully we've told him the right information and give him the right information to really think that Newcastle United is his destination. That is where he really needs to play his football moving forward. And I think, given the players we've brought in already in the past, without having European football, remember, relegation battle, we brought Bruno in. So, it's not all doom and gloom, guys. We can still bring in quality players. And Tosin is a free transfer, but would be a quality signing. I really do believe that. But Chelsea apparently are ready to hijack the deal. Now, the old guard at Newcastle United, of course, has been spoken about for many, 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 many years. Even under the previous regime, keeping old players on the books, giving them ridiculously long contracts when they're not actually playing any football. And it started to really piss a lot of fans off because we're keeping these guys on the books, paying them extortionate wages. And for what? Football, as we know, is a very much a cutthroat business. There's no place for sentiment, especially in the Premier League. We've seen that with other clubs and the decisions they've made to get rid of players in the past. The top managers have always had that ruthless streak about them where they say, right, your time has ended at this football club, whether the fans agreed with it or not, but they ended. You look at Jaap Stam at Manchester United, Roy Keane, those type of players who Fergie just said, right, your time's up, see you later. And he got on with building the next generation. And that's kind of what we need to do at Newcastle United. That's how it should work. And apparently, Paul Dummett and Matt Ritchie could be announced as leaving the club within days. Of course, when their contracts end, they will leave Newcastle United. That is what's been said in the media this morning. As for Ryan Fraser, Southampton have made it known that they would like to sign him on a permanent deal. Newcastle United believe they can get a 7-figure sum for him. Now, whether that's sort of a couple of million or 5 million, for me, it doesn't really matter. The fact is we're getting a little bit of money for him and his wages off the books again, as are Dummett and Ritchie. They are on good wages. We can free that up as well. So that, for me, is a positive, that we're starting to move forward now with getting that old guard out and bringing in the next generation of players. And I think that's vitally important for us as a football club to move forward. Because if we stay stagnant, giving these guys contracts and extensions on a regular basis, there's no room to bring anybody else in. And we know that we want to bring some kids forward. We want to bring new signings in. And listen, I'm not saying anything against the likes of Dummett and Ritchie. Paul Dummett's been here a long, long time and has done a great job for Newcastle United. Brilliant servant, as has Matt Ritchie. I do believe Matt Ritchie should actually stay on in the coaching staff. You know, Eddie Howe's made that known many, many times about his influence in the dressing room. So why not give him a sort of coaching role at Newcastle? Whether or not he wants to go back down south or not, I don't know. But if not, if he wants to stay at the football club, give him a coaching role. Give him some kind of backroom role that he can stay with the football club. I think he'd be brilliant to still have around. But for me, it's more of a positive now that they are moving forward and starting to get these guys out the door so we can bring in the next generation. And finally, Mark Goldbridge. Now, everybody has a say on Mark Goldbridge, don't they? And whether you like him or not. Personally, I like him. I don't agree with him all the time, but I do like him. And, he's been very successful with his YouTube channel. I don't subscribe to all this bollocks about him not being a Manchester United fan. He's a dedicated fan. All right, I like Mark Goldbridge. Many people have got different opinions than that. That's just mine, and I'm entitled to it. However, yesterday he did a video on the Is That's Football channel where he said that Chelsea and Newcastle United are in crisis. Now, I found it a little difficult to agree with him on this one because Newcastle United aren't in any sort of crisis. Far from it. Just no way are we in crisis. You know, it was a big blow not getting into Europe, but it's not the end of the world, and it certainly doesn't stop us, moving forward on the path that we're on. You know, and I just said there earlier on in the show that I do believe Newcastle United can still bring in good players, even without Europe, because we brought Bruno in when we were in a relegation battle. You know, we've brought some real talented players in without being in Europe. So for me, I think it just depends on how good the discussions are with future players, how we sell Newcastle United to them, what the ambition is after 2 seasons, 3 seasons. But remember, we're only 2 and a bit seasons into this new regime, and it's very early days. And I think a lot of fans, including myself, got a little bit carried away when we finished in the Champions League, and we thought, right now, let's kick on, let's glory, it's on its way. But to get to where we're going, guys, we do have to hit bumps in the road. We will hit lots of bumps in the road to achieve that greatness that we're looking for. But when Goldbridge put out that Newcastle United in crisis because we didn't get into Europe, I think he's been a little bit sort of tongue-in-cheek with that, because he went on to talk about Chelsea and how they're in a little bit of crisis because they didn't really want to be in the Conference League, and they may not be in the Conference League. They may pull out. That's still undecided. We'll see in due course with that one. But he moved on to Newcastle United and then spoke quite positively about us, not in a crisis way. He thinks that Newcastle United, because we're playing 1 game a season next year, we will be very strong. We will be challenging a lot of the teams. So I didn't quite understand that the sort of Newcastle United in crisis, because we're not. And any fan that thinks Newcastle are in crisis needs their head read, because we are in a very, very good situation. We're in a very good position. We've had a setback last season, let's be honest, not making Europe. But we finished 7th in the league. Given everything that happened last season, we finished 7th in the league. There is a lot to look forward to this summer and into next season. I genuinely believe that we are going to have we always make a sort of marquee signing in the summer. So I genuinely believe we'll make another one. We'll bring in some other transfers. We'll get some people out the door. It's a big summer. And then when the season starts again, we all get that excitement back. And let's just give Eddie Howe and the lads an opportunity to just see what they can do when we've got everybody fully fit. Because that's for me is where the questions will be answered if Eddie can take us forward. It's once we have everybody I know everybody doesn't stay fit for a full season. I'm not stupid enough to say that, but the majority of the squad fit. You get injuries here and there, no doubt about it. But when the majority of the squad is fit, let's just see where Eddie can take this team. And then if he doesn't succeed, then we'll discuss that. But at the moment, certainly from what Amanda said, he's going nowhere. But there you go, guys. That is the news for today. Hope you're enjoying your Bank Holiday Monday and you've managed to fit this video in somewhere along the line. Please don't forget to give it the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, which will also let you know when we upload any videos such as this, or we schedule in our live shows, which is nearly every day during the week. Obviously, that'll calm down a little bit during the summer, but we'll still be live with you. But we've got the Champions League final coming up. We're covering the Euros as well. So lots of football content coming up on the Toon Review, as well as keeping you updated with all the transfer news and gossip from around Newcastle United. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.